Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Conversations with Coaches podcast. I'm your host, Kevin. Blessedly quiet around here. We were just discussing how background noise, at least in the past, used to interfere with things like this. But nowadays, technology has become so miraculous that I could probably start a generator right over there and you wouldn't hear it. So blessedly, we are here and I get to talk to a little bit more. We've already been talking for a few minutes with Marshall Stern. With over 30 years of experience in business, Marshall is an entrepreneur leadership coach who's passionate about helping other small business owners build a business and a life of freedom, joy, and prosperity. I love the blending there. I get to talk about that a lot on the podcast with a lot of coaches, and I feel like you have a good degree of experience and speciality in this blending. So, Marshall, I'm really happy to have you here. If you can't tell, I've enjoyed talking with you offline, and I can't wait to talk to you some more.
No, that's awesome. Thanks, Kevin. It's great to be here. and as, of course, you press record, I don't know if you guys can hear the airplane going overhead, but maybe not.
I love interruption is miraculous, as is our capacity to adjust.
Yes.
Well, Marshall, let's talk about your superhero origin story. Let's talk about how you got your start as a coach. Now, it kind of tends to be a two-part question because there's that maybe moment or period of time where it sort of dawns on you that you already have certain attributes that you would now call coaching. Maybe you didn't have the word for it at the time. Maybe you were doing it and didn't quite have the role that you have grown into today. So when did you sort of realize that you both were and wanted to be a coach? And then how did you go about going from there into the business you have today?
That's actually a great question. So I would say the origins, I think I've been a coach my entire life and I didn't know it. So growing up, I know we don't have like hours here, but growing up, I was always the mediator of the family. I was always the one helping each other and communicating and settling things down. I was always called the stable one, my air quotes. And then I started business. I had my own business. I started in 1994, a sign and graphics company. And I was always coaching my employees, and not just about their job and the responsibilities, but also their career and their life. They would always, it just came naturally. They always would come to me, and I was always open and listening, and almost became like a therapist for some of them at times when they needed it. But I didn't know that was coaching. I was running my business. I was being who I am. And then in 2011, I followed a person who many of you probably know, John Maxwell, who's a big leadership expert, guru, I guess you can call him. And he was launching this program to help to basically train with him and be one of his coaches and trainers and speakers. And I saw it, and I listened to it, and it was like everything. I saw the light, right? I saw the light. Everything was shining down on me. And I knew that was, I still make business. I still do. I sign business. I knew that was my calling. I couldn't even, it's interesting, I couldn't even talk to my wife about it verbally because I didn't know how to express myself. So I actually texted her or emailed her what this whole thing was, what I wanted to do. And she came to me and she said, what the heck? Why are you emailing this to you? Emailing me this? I said, because honestly, it's hit me so deep. I didn't know how to verbalize it. I want to go down this path. I don't know where it's going to take me. I didn't know I was going to be a coach from it. I thought I could just take it into my sign and graphics business and help my people more and be a better coach and leader for them. But I knew I needed to be a leader because the world needed more leaders. And then 10 years later, I've still been doing it. And I launched my coaching business, mentoring business, and I do that for other entrepreneurs, business owners.
That's so awesome. I love that I feel like it's often this way, but I love the way, and it's almost ironic. I love the way you just described it, how it was this thing you couldn't properly articulate. You knew you had to get it out. You knew, and of course, the first person you want to share it with is like, I need to tell my wife. This is amazing. I don't even know how. And so you found the best way that you could possibly figure out to do it is like, this is the best way I could say it. And I get the impression from you that you then have spent the rest of your life since then, and probably will spend the rest of your life learning the right words, yes, being able to verbalize, to articulate. Because I feel like that's many coaches do have that in common. And I could sense it and see it in you already, that ability to not just articulate for yourself, but to help other people find those words to define what they maybe on some level or in some way already know or feel or are seeking, And then getting those words, you sort of begin to go on that journey. The moment you begin to have some form of words and you begin to shape that expression, your journey towards where you want to go, who you want to be, begins. It doesn't begin, but it goes to another level, I might say, because like you said too, kind of begins all the way at the beginning. Like you've been a coach your whole life. You typically are who you are your whole life. It's just this long process of discovery. And I'm getting a little poetic and schmoopy about it, but I find I'm quite taken with the whole process. It's just it's so, for lack of a better word, magical.
Yeah, it is. And, you know, I know a lot of coaches are kind of come from it from the corporate side, and they had corporate burnout. They were tired of corporate and they knew they could make a difference. We all want to make a difference. I didn't come from corporate. I came from small business. And, but yeah, I've been a coach my whole life. Like it's who I am. It comes natural to me. I've had to learn to be a better listener than a talker, like a consultant, because that's the way I used to be. You know, I want to be the fixer, just fix it. Here's what you do. And as a coach, that doesn't serve your client. At times you might need to go down there, but overall you have to listen and help them get the solutions out for themselves so that they're more prone to do it. Because if you just tell them what to do, and I've had consultants, I've had coaches who think they're coaches and they're consultants, and they've told me what to do. And it's like, I'm not doing
that. I do like that. I feel like getting that distinction across to people between coaching and consulting. I like that's a good way to put it, because as a consultant, you are the fixer. You're almost like a contractor. It's like, my plumbing's busted. I need you to come and fix it and tell us how to then keep this from happening in the future, you know? And a coach is more like, you know, you're going to take a class. You're going to find a teacher, maybe even a mentor or something like that, which is also a little bit of a different journey. And they're going to kind of tell you a little bit about it, but they're going to mostly listen. They're going to find out what's really going on, maybe what the root causes of things are, whether it's a problem in search of a solution or just a destination in search of a map, you know, and a lot more listening going on there. There's still, I don't know if solution is the right word. There still is a destination kind of in mind when someone seeks out a coach or a consultant, but it really is, especially with coaching, it seems much more about the journey and that sort of guidance, you know, where it's like, I'm not going to climb the mountain for you, but I'll be your Sherpa. You know, I've been up and down this road before. I could tell that you haven't, or maybe you have, but you got lost the last time. Let me show you where to step and where not to step. And let me listen to where you stepped before so I can make sure, you know, that I tell you the right way to go. It's all, I love the analogies abound for this kind of stuff. I really do love it.
Yeah, for sure.
So you obviously, and this is true of a lot of coaches too, you tend to focus your coaching business on sort of where you come from. And I like that you like I feel like there's a strong, I don't want to say minority, but there's a strong segment of the coaching business that is specific to where you come from, small business, entrepreneur. And there are a lot of special, unique needs there for a lot of people who need guidance. Because I mean, as you know, a small business owner, it can be, you can feel like you are out there all alone and figuring things out on your own with no one really to turn to for guidance or help or assistance. So let's talk about your present coaching business and who you focus on helping and serving and how you do so. Like, I know one-to-one is something you do, group coaching, masterminds. There's many methods to the madness, so to speak. So yeah, talk about who you coach and how you coach them today.
Another great question. So I coach, it's funny because everyone and all the coaches are coaches. There's more coaches coaching coaches than coaches coaching other people, but all the coaching experts say to niche down and pick a niche. And so I guess I kind of have a niche, but it's a little bit broad. I coach entrepreneurial business owners. They've been in business usually at least 3 or 4 years. They're either a solopreneur or they might have a very small team of 3 or 4 people across all industries. Ironically, I've been in a service and manufacturing-based business for the last 28 years, but most of my clients are service-based, which is kind of ironic because I've been more on the design manufacturing, but still service. Yeah. And I would say probably 80% of them are women entrepreneurs, usually moms. And what was other? It's really all about, so my coaching is, I call it sort of a 3-pronged approach: coaching, mentoring, and teaching.
Okay.
I refer to myself, some people say I'm a business coach. I don't think businesses need coaches. I think business owners do. So I'm more of a coach for business owners or entrepreneur coach, whatever. I'm not into labels. But really, I'm a leadership coach in disguise.
Hmm.
And what I mean by that is, and that's where I got my certification came from on the leadership side with John Maxwell 10 years ago or 11 years ago now. I think us as business owners, we struggle with focus, with consistency, with just all, like you mentioned earlier, we're all alone. So my coaching really is all about helping them become almost like the self-leader for themselves first, then the leader of their business, become more focused, more intentional and more consistent, more intentional with their time and more consistent and accountable. Which accountability is all coaches, right?
Yeah, it's funny of course, because I'm thinking in analogies a lot today, as you can probably tell. I love that phrase, leadership coach in disguise, because in my head, all of a sudden, this Trojan horse appeared, and where it's like, you might not call it leadership when we first meet, and when you decide that we're gonna, I'm gonna coach you, and we're gonna see if we can help each other and see if we can serve each other. You might not think what you want or what you're needing is leadership coaching, but it is. And we're going to get there. But for me to get into the door, I'm going to Trojan horse. You can call me a business coach or a business owner coach or an entrepreneur coach or whatever you want to call me. You can call me, because I like this too. I like that you struggled to know what to call who you were, and you ended up arriving at coach, because ultimately the labels can be helpful, but so long as they don't get in the way, and so long as you remember what you're really there for. And I love that approach. It springs right from your origin story, which is of course the way things usually work. So I love that I have this Trojan horse leadership coach in my head now. You sneaking into the city under other pretenses, because you know what's really going to help, and that's leadership coaching, and starting with leading yourself. Which, that's the game, isn't it?
Well, it is. If I call myself a leadership coach, people, small business owners won't resonate with that, because they don't think they need leadership coaching. They need someone.
What do you mean I'm not a leader?
Exactly. They just but they don't even think about that. They think leaders are for like big corporations and governments, although the governments and corporations need, I won't go there. This is not that kind of podcast.
Nor do we have that much time.
Exactly. But it really does come down, as John Maxwell always says, everything rises and falls on leadership. And it really does. I mean, it just does. Our own coach, for all your listeners, as a coach, you need to be a self-leader. You need to be able to lead your own business and also lead your clients.
I want to greedily keep you for another couple of hours and just make like 6 or 7 different podcast episodes. But I'm going to tell you right now, I am going to reach out to you at some point in the not too distant future and ask for you to come back for a part 2. And then we'll pick a topic. I've been doing this a little more with some of my coaches who've become more like as much friends as people who I've interviewed on a podcast. And man, do I just want to talk to you about leadership and your not just your journey, but who you help and how you help them these days. But we're already coming up on the usual time limit for this podcast. Try to keep it short and sweet so you can, do the dishes with an episode or go for a run with an episode, a short one.
Perfect.
But before we go, please tell our audience where to, and this is another one of those 2-part questions, where they can find out more about you and your coaching business, and also where they might best connect with you. Like if you have a preferred method for people to reach out, if you have like a free strategy call, or if you'd like to connect on LinkedIn and get to know people there. So where can people find out more about you and connect with you?
Perfect. Yeah. So easiest way, so the regular channels, but marshallstern.net. So Marshall Stern, like 2 L's, marshallstern.net, because someone took the .com. And I'm talking to him, but he's got it. It's marshallstern.net. You can book a call with me. I love meeting just other coaches, because we need to work together and help each other and support each other, collaborate. So there's always collaboration opportunities. And LinkedIn, you can find me on LinkedIn for sure. I think just Marshall Stern on LinkedIn. And you're also I have a Facebook group called The Business Inner Circle. So you can reach me there or join and participate in that sort of thing.
Excellent. Yeah, I'll have to I'll have you send me that link so I can get it into the show notes so people can submit to join and check you out. Man, okay. I'm feeling that greedy desire to ask you other follow-up questions as my brain continues to spin off in interesting directions. So I am going to hassle you for a part 2, but for now, I'm just really grateful to talk with you today. It's been great. So thanks for being here and thanks for sharing.
No, I appreciate it, Kevin. Thanks for the opportunity. I loved it. Appreciate it.
And to the audience out there, do yourself a favor. He's great. We just barely scratched the surface. I just barely scratched the surface. So if you're feeling even as remotely greedy as I am, reach out, find out more, connect with him, and we will talk to you again soon.